Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Oz. Jack and Later still in Lake Jackson, so this one's coming from my little shitty galley kitchen. This one's going to be great. It's one of our slow cooker ones, so you're going to need a crock pot or slow cooker, whatever you call it. It's going to take some hours, but only like 5 minutes of prep. So this is going to be great. Before we get into it, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, ring the little bell, get notifications when we do this on Tuesdays, Fridays. Also, link down the doobly-doo for our aprons, fake hands, spatulas, flippers, pot holders, all kind of stuff. It's down there. We very much appreciate it. We're a small business. And let's get into the food. Enough of me talking, man. Like shameless plug over. All right. First things first. We're going to get into the stuff. Looks like a lot. It's not. So you're going to need a big onion. Yellow or white's fine. You can use any kind of onion, I guess. And then bell pepper. You want to get a large one? I found the medium one at best, but whatever. You're going to use some fresh basil later and a little bit earlier. You're going to want some Italian bread, some rolls, something to put this on. The 28-ounce thing of crushed tomatoes. 28, right? And crushed tomatoes is your specialty part. Is going to be your big stuff. This next part is chicken broth, or you can swap out a masala wine. You're going to need like a quarter cup of that stuff. Salt and pepper, again, is just going to be at a teaspoon a piece of there. You're going to need a crock pot, obviously. And then your seasoning stuff, you want a quarter teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Your garlic powder and oregano, you want to do it at a half teaspoon each. And then 8 of the Italian sausages. Now, I got these for $2, but they're only 5, so I bought 2 of them. So this is usually your big expenditure in this one, obviously, because it's the meat. But I lucked out and got these super cheap because they're all best if used by whatever, and got like a week left. So, gonna leave out 2. This works perfect, and that's your important stuff. You can get the sweet, hot, whatever. So first things first, wash your fruit and veg. Like, take all that, get it nice and clean. Now you gotta clean your onion, right? You gotta get the skin off. So that's the one that's the hardest part here. So get you a nice sharp knife. Shout out to Andy again. You need to cut off your papery nipple here, close to it as you can, so you're not wasting onion just cutting that off and getting rid of it. Okay, and then you got to peel all this papery stuff off. This is the Shrek part. They're talking about all the, onions have layers and ogres and stuff. Just pull off all that. It's unappetizing. It doesn't cook. It's just solid, whatever. Peel it off. It takes a little while. You know what this looks like. So once you get all that stuff done, you want to cut that root off as well. Again, as close to it as possible so you're not wasting any onion, okay? Get that nice and pulled off. And then you want to cut this up. You want to chop it, right? So you can do it long ways, lengthways. I do it this way so I can get some nice thin pieces. Just chop it one way. And you're going to spin around, chop with the other, right? It does not have to be perfect. We're going to cook this down. Watch your fingers. Be very careful. Cut it one way. Yeah, you can leave it like this and get these long skinny pieces. Like that's how I'm going to do the bell pepper stuff, right? Get these pieces here. But I like cutting it down a little smaller just so it's just like chopped. Just like not quite cubed, I guess. But just go ahead and cut this back down, going back the other way. Do the full thing. I'm not going to bore you with that. Like, you know what it looks like to cut onions, right? Like, all your fruit and veg, like, half is good enough. Like, any kind of big piece, especially on the end, slit them down and just cut them up and get them smaller. Bell pepper, again, make sure it's cleaned and try to pull out that thing. If it's got a stem on it, you can go ahead and pull it out. If not, get you a knife. Be very careful, especially if you got a sharp knife or using a stupid huge one because that's just what close, like I did, okay? So just cut around this, and then you get to go all Temple of Doom on it and try to rip it out. Now, don't worry if it tears a little bit, like right here. Boop, tear. We're going to cut that anyway, but just rip that part out and get rid of it. Or go plant the seeds. It's up to you. Try to get all the veins out. Usually, if you pull it out when it's nice and cold, it'll pull those out. But if not, we're going to pull those by cutting it here. So get you a big knife, cut it once down the middle. Usually match your tears. Now, see all these veins and all the seeds still in here? Pull those out. They're bitter. They're hard to chew like the seeds. So once you get those out, you're good. Flip them over. And then I like to cut them, I guess, height-wise along the pepper, like from top to bottom. But they give me this long, skinny pieces here that look really good. Now, your fresh basil stuff, you want to cut it, but you don't want this stem in here. So just lay it out. You can just pick it off, cut it off. However, I try to be fancy and cut it, and then end up having to rip stuff off anyway. So just don't get the big stems in there. All you need is really the leaves, okay? So once you get that out, again, get all your leaves off. Yeah, don't need this. Get rid of that stuff. Now, the rest of this, just kind of wad it up, and then we're going to slice it. Now, originally the recipe called for dried basil to go in when you're making your sauce. I didn't have any, and fresh just works just as good. So it's just going to be a little bit here. What is it? Half a teaspoon worth of it. So just a pinch when you're doing it. So get your crockpot stuff. Go ahead and put in your whole can of your crushed tomatoes here and scrape it all in there. Get you a nice spatula. I'm doing it in a hurry just because I can't stand the noise of doing that. And get it all in there. Now, You get you a quarter cup of your broth or wine if you're going to use a Marsala wine. I don't have wine. I'm allergic to it and stuff. So I did chicken broth. Now I got to find something to do with the rest of that chicken broth. Put that right in and you're good. Okay, now it's your red pepper seeds. You only want a quarter teaspoon in here. If you want it spicy, you can go ahead and do a full half, but I don't recommend it. Garlic powder, you only want a half teaspoon, but I only have a quarter teaspoon, so I measure in 2 and then add in a little extra because it's me. And then your oregano or oregano is 1/2. Again, I have a quarter teaspoon. I lost my half, so do that one. That full teaspoon of salt and a full teaspoon of freshly ground pepper if you have it. It doesn't have to be this fancy rock pepper. Any salt or rock salt will work, or pepper, whatever. Just makes it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Give it a nice toss in here. Make sure it's nice and coated so it's not just a big wad of seasoning and flavors right in the middle and it's just going to be overpowering and horrible. Okay? Get it nice and stirred, and then you want to mix in your other stuff. But when you start, be sure to scrape it off the edges. If it gets on the edges, it'll just cook and get hot and be miserable. Oh, so here's what you're talking about. The fresh basil in here, just get you a pinch, just a little bit, and then take the rest, put it in the fridge, because this is going to be cooking for 6 to 8 hours, okay? And set it aside. So now, make sure these are thawed. Your Italian sausage, just put them in here. Doesn't have to be nice. I didn't even think about it because I had to stir it, but I just labeled it in there. Put your onion and your pepper in there. Make sure you get them all. They'll stick to the bowl, act like refugees. And then get you something to stir it, and you're going to need to give a big stir. Now, do it slow, or you're just going to be throwing onion and pepper pieces everywhere. Yeah, your Italian sausage. Make sure everything is nice and coated. Now, when it's cooking, it's going to fill up a little bit. I know this looks dry, like the stuff on top's not getting enough, but when it cooks, the oils, grease and stuff in that, and the water and the vegetables will come up. So get it nice and coated. Put it in your crock pot, and then you want to put it on low for 6 hours. Okay, just 6 hours. He said it's fire and forget again. Like me, you need to remember that you need to plug the damn thing in before you walk off. Before you fire and forget, be sure to plug it in. Now, it's been 6 hours. It got a little, well, it wasn't cooking quite enough, so I did 6 hours. And then we're going to put it on high, and then put in the rest of that fresh basil, and put it in the top, give it a little bit of a stir. See how liquidy this got as it was cooking, because all the water and the oils and stuff. So put it on high and do it for another hour. So it's 7 hours all total. And then this is going to cook great, right? This already smells amazing in the house. Again, it's like a lot of store-bought stuff, so I don't want to catch hell for my Italian friends. But yeah, put the lid back on it, do it for an hour. So while that's cooking, you got your bread. Like, I got these Italian rolls, whatever, but they're not split like bread. People are spoiled by that stuff. So you can get you a knife and cut it down. All my knives are in the washing machine, so I just get scissors. Scissors work fine. Now, I left one edge intact, so I just made this like a lever. Like, look at this. Now, I didn't cut all the way through, cut a little bit more. But yeah, that way your sausage can sit in. It's almost like a sideways hot dog bun because you're putting a sausage in it, but it works pretty good. Now, you can dress this with whatever you feel like mayo, mustard, whatever suits your boat. I did a little bit of mayo on one just because I could. But, yep, there's my tongs. I kind of cooked those when I was doing the corn dogs, man. Those melted a little bit. That's on me. But they still work. So I use those to get these out because I'm just going to leave them in the crock pot for now. I can chill them later, reheat them in the same crock pot without having to mess up and use Tupperware. And that tomato stuff gets on the Tupperware. It's just orange, and I don't want it looking like that. So get your sausage, put it in there, and be sure to reach in and get you some of the peppers and the onions that are in there, some of that fresh basil that's been cooking for the last hour in it. It smells amazing. It tastes great, but yeah, you can dress it with whatever you want. I was thinking about hitting it with some hot sauce or whatever, but with the red peppers and the hot Italian sausage, man, it worked fine. So be sure to get this in here, try it. Bread was a little longer here, so what I'd probably end up doing is taking one and cutting it in half and kind of making it like a sausage and a half on a roll. But yeah, that's it. The bread doesn't hold up for the weeks in the food prep stuff, but if you take this, keep it refrigerated or whatever, it would be great for your food prep, for the sausage and the peppers and stuff. This is great. Smells amazing. Very much reminds me of summers as a kid with my relatives and stuff, sitting around eating this kind of stuff. We'd go off work in the morning and come back and have this because it's been cooking all day. Super easy. Just slicing up some stuff or whatever. It's well under our budget, right? Like, our sausages are a big expenditure, and I found mine for cheap. Even if I used 1.5 of those, then it was, like $3. So that's pretty good. So yeah, you need to try this one, or let me know how well I screwed up.
And there you have it, folks. You can tell by the clock that it's taken a while to cook this one, but super easy prep, and then just fire and forget. So this is amazing. It's great for like meal prep and stuff too. So this is really good. You should try this. If you want to do it differently, you want to see us do it differently, you just want to let us know what happens, let us know. That's what the comments are for. Write them down there. You can also find us on social media and tell us about it over there. We're at Facebook, Pinterest, Patreon. We're at all those at Living Between Paychecks Kitchen. We're also at Instagram at Living Between. We had to shorten that one down. You can find me, Osway Nerdy, on all of those, including Twitter and on TikTok, where I'm doing all kinds of just bizarre stuff. And I'm getting some of the recipes from this from my friends on Discord. So thank you very much for those stuff. And I will see you next time. I'm going to go watch Sopranos and eat some Italian sausage and peppers. Like, whatever. I get mocked for using my canned foods. See y'all next time. Please be safe.